Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. Welcome to Nightcaps Nostalgia. As always, I'm Justin Poe, and with me is longtime co-contributor and often rumored lover, Nathan Harsh. He didn't introduce himself, he's shy.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know who's loving who over here, but that's fine. I am Nathan.
I said rumored, mostly by your girlfriend, actually, but that's neither here nor there.
Very well. Oh, squeaky chair. We also have squeaky chair.
The squeaky chair is an always a constant companion for us.
Always.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, today we're here to talk about something very exciting for us. We've decided that we are doing an undertaking, a very large undertaking, a rather Atlantean undertaking. We've decided that we are going to rank every video game in the history of mankind.
Yeah, I feel like you're overstating it. It's really simple.
I feel like I've understated it as much as I could by not offering more specifics on the matter. I really, when Nathan came to me with his idea, folks, I was hesitant. But now that he's explained to me his thinking, I'm confident that you and I could rate every game throughout the entirety of history.
Yeah, so I like how we do a reshoot and be like, hey, let's make it more concise.
We add more fluff.
And you just ran with it, but that's fine. How this is going to work is we are going to rank every single video game on two separate lists. One for me, Nathan, and one for Justin.
We're different people, after all.
We are. The two rules are going to be, we have to have footage of us playing them on the channel, each of us. Doesn't have to be in the same video, but there has to be footage of us playing in order to rank it on the list. And also, we're going to play it however long we feel we need to. You don't have to finish a game to have an opinion on a game. And you can play a game for 10 minutes and be like, this isn't for me. I think that's valid. Also, side note, we didn't bring this up in our previous recording. We are going to assume on all cartridge-based games that you have access to the manual. Because a lot of those old school games have vital information in those manuals that are not in the game itself.
To be fair, I mean, I guess we can just kind of assume it for all games. It's just the cartridge ones, I think.
It's more important, correct.
That have that more important detail more often at least than later games did.
Yeah, so from here on out, we're going to add 2 games to the list per week. And basically we're going to be like, hey, we played this game. Where do we put it on the list?
Now, we have a treat for you. This being our first entry, we've decided to go back and look at 3 of the games that Nathan and I have both played and covered together here on the channel that we have done thus far. Those 3 games being Rule of Rose, Red Dead Revolver, and God of War, the first one on PS2.
And you know what? Let's get a little spicy. I didn't even tell you about this on this recording. We just finished Darkwatch today.
We did.
We're going to do 4 games. We're going to throw Darkwatch in there.
You want to put a spicy tamale in there?
We've already done it. We've already done it. Let's throw it in there.
Okay, let's throw it in there.
So, I feel like the best way to explain it is just get into it. So, that's my clicky pen.
Yeah, squeaky chair and clicky pen.
Squeaky chair and clicky pen are here with us. So,
I'm so happy you brought all your companions, SpongeBob.
and
right?
Flippy Book is here too.
Are any of them real, SpongeBob?
The gang's all here. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with Rule of Rose. So, for me, Rule of Rose is the only game on this list at this point.
Yes.
So by default, it's the best game of all time.
Rule of Rose right now in our list is the best game of all time. Now, mind you have to keep in mind, right now it's also the worst game of all time because it's the only game on the list.
It's Schrodinger's game.
It actually has a lot more parallels to the game than I'd actually like to admit.
Haha.
Speaking of the game and Schrodinger's principles, Rule of Rose was nothing like I expected it to be.
No.
I was expecting the Resident Evil-like tendency of the game because there was a huge time period in Japanese development, I feel like, during the PS2 after Silent Hill, where that genre kind of just blew up in a really weird way and there was a lot of knockoffs. So the control schemes and the item inventory system didn't really surprise me much, but the narrative of that game is everywhere. It is hard to follow, and you always feel like you're playing a guessing game to keep up with it. And it feels very little need to actually ever really explain itself.
Okay. For me, the reason I have Rule of Rose as #1 video game of all time, stumbling over my words a little bit, we are sober after all. That will happen.
The horror.
I know. Call this no cap in nostalgia.
Oh no!
Wait, no, I don't like that. That
No.
doesn't mean what I thought it meant.
No,
No,
the kids don't. They,
No.
they won't care for that at all.
never mind. Okay, but no, for me, Rule of Rose, it was a game that I had heard about. I've always wanted to play, and there's a reason why we started the channel with that. I don't recommend you go back and watch it
No,
because you can tell it's our first video we've ever done.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think we've gotten to the level where I would recommend any of our videos right now to a person as like a piece of valuable entertainment.
Yeah.
Only in like a, hey, can you critique this? I'm working on myself sort of thing.
So the story, for me, it was less about understanding what was going on and just a mood that it conveyed.
The atmosphere in the game is fantastic.
The atmosphere is the word I was looking for.
Yes.
So I'm glad I played it. Would you pay, as of right now, the $600 to $650 that it goes for complete in box? Would you recommend someone go out and buy that game?
No. I wouldn't recommend spending $20 on that game. Now, I say that as a person who is happy to have played it,
Yes.
but that is my kind of game, and I can't really see myself being like, hey, you should spend money to try this game out, because, I mean, I don't think I would have even gotten through it without you. Like,
No.
you and I hadn't been playing that together for the channel, that would have been a game where, like, I might have gotten a third of the way through it and just stopped playing at some point. So, for me, it is kind of funny that the Rule of Rose right now is the only game on our list, because it really does epitomize both the best things I thought in it and the worst things I thought of it, right? So
Yeah, and like you played most of it.
I
and
did.
You had a great sense of direction. Mine is garbage.
I can't even imagine how hard that would be for someone who has no sense of direction.
Yes.
Because we did find out that there were maps later on, but you had to do things in order to acquire maps that required map skill. So, like, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah. So as of right now, Rule of Rose. You know what? Let's throw something else in here. Play it, buy it, forget about it.
You want just like a small
For a recommendation for someone. Would you recommend someone experience this game, like play it or watch a let's play of it? Do you feel like you get something more out of playing it versus just watching it?
No, this is a game that I don't really feel like its style actually commits anything, especially because the way they dealt with combat in that game.
Yeah, that was bad. Like I played a few combat segments at the end, and it was not great.
Just not good. And there's a reason to have difficult or clunky combat, and that's if you're encouraging your player to avoid combat because the systems aren't really there in place.
Which they do until the end when they make you fight.
Exactly. I'll be honest with you, that game didn't make you fight that gauntlet at the end. I'd have a higher opinion of it. I really would.
Yeah.
That ending gauntlet, which is literally just a hair terror, just to, slow you down from progressing and finishing the game too fast, a difficulty spike out of nowhere, in my personal opinion, really does bring down the whole game for me. But, I mean, story-wise, there's definitely something there, and I don't think I can even begin to unpack the entirety of what it is, but I got enough of the themes and the vibes off of the characters and their interactions and their stories that I feel like I know what the game is going for, right? And I think you can get that from just watching a Let's Play of it.
Okay. I was going with the same thing. Now, side note, me personally, I do want to own a copy of that game just because it is the first game we ever completed, and we did use emulation. I'd like to have it personally for personal reasons, but you get what you need from it out of watching it. Honestly, I think a 6-part Netflix miniseries would do it more justice than an interactive game.
I'll be honest with you, at this point, yeah, I mean, shit, even if it was something coming out of Japan, even, going on Netflix or something, you could do with that really easily, actually.
All right, so,
Rule of Rose is
number one.
Number one.
Let's move on. Red Dead Revolver. We played the Xbox version, the original Xbox version.
We did. Now, this is the first game that's going to have a coating of nostalgia for me.
Okay.
Because I played it during my youth.
I have never played it up until we did on the channel.
Going back to Red Dead Revolver for me, especially on the channel, was really interesting because, like I said, I had that opinion of it from my youth, and in some ways that opinion held true. In other ways, it did not at all hold up to what I thought it was going to be. But overall, I would say that's an experience worth having, especially at the budget that it's at right now. On Xbox, I think it's still pretty cheap.
Xbox is the cheapest version, but even PS2, I think it's sub 15.
Yeah.
Plus, it's still available on digital services on like PS4. I think PS3 store is still up. You can get it there.
It's actually on PS4 and PS5 as well. I see
Okay.
it on sale frequently as like a classic game. But no, that's a game that's totally, I think, worth going back to, especially if not just for the multiplayer. We didn't really get a huge chance to mess around with it, so I won't talk about it too much in depth.
There are earlier episodes, or somewhere on the channel there's us playing it, I think.
Right, but we didn't get up to 4 players, which I think is where that game mode would probably shine.
Which is easier to do on Xbox. We just need to get a few more controllers. Yeah. I do want to do that at some point. But there's also something to be said for rating a game. You're not always going to have that multiplayer.
That's true. On a single player experience, I don't know. I already knew the whole story going in. Like, I remembered most of the story, so I knew that the governor was the guy all along. Yada yada yada. That betrayed your father. So for the story beats, I think it's fine. It's classic Western story beats.
It's such a do nothing story for me because it's just a reason to go from arena to arena to fight.
I think it does a good enough job, and I think they do a decent enough job. They put enough effort in to make us understand the characters and motivations, which is all you really need from something like this, just to keep it rolling forward.
Okay.
Because you have the missions where you play as other characters like Jack London, Annie Swift, and Shadow Wolf. Yeah. That gave enough variation and also allowed you to play someone other than just what you'd already been playing as.
Yeah. So for me, I have no nostalgia for this game. I played it. Had a good time playing it. There were definitely parts that we both got frustrated with.
Are you about to try to tell me this is the second best game of all time?
Not yet. Okay. But something, I do want to give this game credit, because what it did is it added replayability by having different tiers of unlocks for each level.
Yes.
So there's a shit ton to do, shit ton to unlock. The controls feel tight enough to where, like, I could see me going back and playing this on occasion. Not like I'm going to dedicate a whole stream to playing to unlock shit, but like I would dabble in this game here and there. Replayability is high. Rule of Rose replayability
low.
There's stuff to unlock, but it's just not worth your time.
Well, I mean, especially because one of the things to unlock in Rule of Rose was like
weapons that make
why would I go back to have a bad combat experience where I can just then have a less bad combat experience? You already maybe go through the worst version.
Yeah, so as of right now...
Come on.
For me...
Say what I want you to say.
I'm going to put Red Dead above Rule of Rose.
So you're saying that a game that I recommended is your best game of all time?
As of right now, yes. And is it safe to say you'd do the same as
well?
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Red Dead beats out Rule of Rose. It's funny, they're rather inverse of each other. You know, Little beats it out because it has the mechanics there that Rule of Rose lacked, whereas Rule of Rose definitely had more story and themed character elements, but didn't quite rise above.
So here's where we're gonna review we're gonna rank God of War next. We're doing these in the order that we played on the channel.
Yes.
So this is where I think it's gonna get interesting for us. Where God of War falls in this list. So, for me, God of War is a game I beat as a kid, and it blew my fucking mind.
Which is fair.
Because, dude, I don't know if you didn't read a lot of gaming magazines back then, but I remember Game Informer giving this a perfect 10 when it came out. One of the few games to do that, especially at that time. So I'm like, fuck. I gotta get my hands on this game. And I did. It was incredible. I had a great fucking time, and it's one of those games I was looking forward to going back to on the channel. You and I had talked about it.
Pretty early on.
Early on, it's one of the games we wanted to do. It's just a matter of when were we going to put it in?
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to see what you would say, but for me going back to it, it was not as much fun today as I remember having with it back then. That's not to say it's a bad game. I just think as the series went on, it started looking better. There started being bigger set pieces, more like just grandiose shit.
A bigger budget.
Exactly. I think it was a great start. I just don't think it holds up today as much as it did in the past.
I can agree with
if that makes sense.
No, I can agree with that 100%. Does that make you want to voice your ranking now, or would you like to hear my opinion
Well,
first?
I'd like to hear your opinion.
Because for me, I do agree, right? The game was stunning when it came out. I mean, a real visual fucking spectacle. But going back to it, that didn't stand out as much because we've played a lot of games from a lot of different console generations, and the look that it had, I mean, it definitely had some semblance of setting theme, but it was kind of obfuscated by their need for scale, I think a little too much sometimes. But that's not here nor there. Not to get too much into the nitty gritty on each individual aspect of it. But no, for me, for God of War, I think is bringing a really good balance of story, setting, character, and mechanics. And while I don't think it does either perfectly, I think they do a really good job of encapsulating what they want to encapsulate, right? Which is his story, Greek tragedy, your setting, Greek mythology, right? And, a sense of gods and bigger beings and titans and yada, yada, yada. I think they achieve both really well, especially given the fact that it was a new IP at the time, didn't have a huge budget. So I would say personally, God of War is my number one best game of all time at the moment.
Okay. Now, for me, this is obviously the same Kratos that is in the modern God of Wars. We haven't really talked about Ragnarok and what was it, 2018, 2019 God of War?
2018, yeah.
2018. We haven't talked about that before on the channel in depth, but like Ragnarok was my favorite game of the year that it came out. And that story hits, I don't want to go too in depth into Ragnarok because we'll get there.
Yeah.
But the reason I love that character so much in Ragnarok is because of who he was established to be here. In the journey of that character, I really enjoy. I don't enjoy actually being Kratos in God of War 1, but I don't think you're supposed to be either.
No, I think you and I had talked about briefly, even while we were playing it, that Kratos really is set up as someone who has brought misfortune onto himself, right?
Yes.
He's suffering well-justified misfortune, which is kind of funny because it's not traditionally Greek tragedy for you to deserve your misfortune necessarily. A lot of times it would be more ambiguous than that. Like, that's not here nor there, though. But one of the things I think they do aim for is for him to have more character than you expect. Like, you expect him to be like a rugged, badass douche, just because, that was the stereotype for a lot of, powerful protagonists during that time period, I feel like. Like, that was the edgelord era, I feel like.
Sure.
Of, protagonists in both movies, games, across the mediums. And I think that they kind of subverted that a little bit by making him a moody, handsome, strong, has sex with women type. But then we start peeling back layers of him that are somewhat superficial, I will admit, right?
Yeah.
But just learning the superficial past gives him the appearance of depth to a larger degree than a lot of protagonists would have had during this time period. So I think there was at least enough forethought where they're like, we're gonna care. We're gonna tell more of this character's characterization, if you will, through the narrative rather than through the character, but we're still gonna have some characterization happen, which I'm like, fuck it. That's something at least.
Yeah, so I think it's a good origin for Kratos.
Mm.
I get more out of a game if I enjoy a character in that game, right? It's part of the reason why Breaking Bad didn't work for me. I just didn't like any of those characters, and I wasn't rooting for anyone. And I don't want to go too deep into Breaking Bad. That's not where I'm trying to go.
No, I wasn't either.
But the gameplay I don't think holds up as well today as it did back then. And the story is just so superficial, but at the same time does enough to set up the world and the characters in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess to sum it up and stop being long-winded, I would put God of War at number 2 for me, with Red Dead at the top.
So you're saying that one of the games I recommend to you is still your number 1 top game ranked of all time.
Wait till we get to Bushido Blade and keep talking shit now.
I'm not talking shit. I'm putting accolades on you, my friend, for having such good taste.
My taste.
Because it damn near matches my taste. No.
Yeah, but it's a good base for the series. It's a good game. For like $10 is what it's going for now.
Yeah.
Buy that game all day.
Yeah.
You're not going to...
PS2s are easy to get a hold of. That game,
dude, the PS3 collection, there's like 2 different collections in PS3 that have it if you don't want to hook up a PS2. Like, there are ways to play God of War 1. It's not hard to get a hold of the way Rule of Rose was.
Yeah.
But for my ranking, as of right now, I've got Red Dead Revolver, then God of War, then Rule of Rose.
And I have the exact same order, except it's God of War, Red Dead Revolver, Rule
Yeah,
of Rose.
you have the exact same order, except different.
One spot different, baby.
Now, as the bonus game that you weren't ready to talk about,
Yeah.
we just finished this game 3 hours ago.
I don't feel bad talking about it because I'm pretty sure we ended our stream finale of that game by talking about what we'd rate this game. So putting it within the context of this list
On a
too...
5-star scale. Now, I don't want to say it's disingenuous, but I feel like you can have objectively rate, or as objectively as you can, rate a game on a 5-star scale at a 2 out of 5, but still rather play it than a game that's 3 out of 5.
I understand entirely.
Depending on the mood you're in at the time.
I have opinions about Darkwatch. Like I said a lot of them during the end of the stream, but
so I'm going to come in hot here.
You got something hot. I mean, this is your bonus game. I should let you go first.
We talked a lot of shit during that stream because that game, spoiler alert, really falls apart at the end. I think it makes a great impression and then just drops off as you go.
I'd say it started dropping off within like the first, I think before the first half.
That's
like once you get initiated into the Darkwatch, I think is when things start getting worse somehow.
I agree. I do agree with you. But at the same time, I'm putting Darkwatch at number 1.
Number 1?
Let me tell you why. I may be a prisoner of the moment, but I've just been on a kick for that era first-person shooter here recently. I've been playing a lot of them. This game, I think the mechanics are solid. They just didn't they didn't incentivize you to use them all. Like, we didn't start realizing how important they were until the very end.
Yeah.
Like, during the end of that stream, we're like, wait a minute, we just got this kill everything on screen vampire power. We could have been doing all these things. We were just playing it like a standard first-person shooter.
To be fair, I wasn't impressed by any of the powers, though.
No. They could have done more with it. But Darkwatch, I think, I'm still rating it a 2 out of 5. But I'm putting it at number 1 because I think it's much easier just to pick up Darkwatch and be like, I'm going to play a level or two, or I'm going to play 5, 10, 15 minutes of it. It's close with Red Dead Revolver for me. Like, Red Dead Revolver, I think, has more replayability, but I like the setting in the minute-to-minute of Darkwatch better. I guess I resonate more with first-person shooters than I do third-person shooters. But it's close.
That's fair. I mean, it's funny because you're putting it number 1. It's going dead last for me.
I knew that was coming.
I am making Rule of Rose very happy because for the first time since its inclusion on the list, it's not last on my list anymore. But yeah, no, Darkwatch is going straight to the end for me. It did nothing to really make me interested in never playing it again. I think there's depth there we definitely did not tap into by not utilizing all the aspects of the game.
We did not also... We dicked around a little bit with the multiplayer.
We did.
I don't think you need to, but I had an enjoyable time playing with you in the one-on-one. I would like to do a 4-player game of that.
My problem is the lack of weapon selection.
Yes.
There's only 5 weapons in the game, I think. 5 or 6, something like that.
What was it? It was the rocket, the Redeemer, the dual pistol... Shotgun, repeater, sniper rifle.
I think that's it.
I think you can get...
Crossbow,
and then I think you can get 2 Redeemers, but that's cheating. 7 or... Less than 10 weapons.
Less than 10. Definitely.
And then, like, they supplement it with the powers. But
yeah, the powers are shit, though. Like I said, none of them interested me until the last one, and then the last one ended up being fucking overpowered. How the fuck does that work? But anyway... To make a short story long here, for me at least, when it comes to putting Darkwatch last, I mean, it was just... It wasn't the right amount of cheesy for me. Like, it really could have been very easily, but it just took itself a little too seriously. It actually kind of suffered from that syndrome I was talking about that Kratos kind of does too, where it's like, edgelord, badass, doesn't even say a word, which you can have silent protagonist, fine. But, the Dark Lord badass, kind of... aesthetic is one that I've never really adhered to very much and still don't like it very much. And I was really hoping that there'd be like some cheese to kind of bring me around on it. And there really wasn't any cheese in that. That took itself very seriously and thought it was a lot more than it really was, I think, looking back on it. Like they thought they were making like a first person action/horror ? And it's like, yeah, some elements, I guess, of horror, like gothic themage, but nothing enough to really give you any extra credit, I'd say.
Like, to me, to sum up my opinion on Darkwatch, wasted potential.
100%. Like I said, this, to me, seems like an elevator pitch where a committee heard it, said it sounded great, but no one really had a vision moving forward. They made, I mean, everything in the game is a ripoff of a different game, and don't get me wrong, it does a lot of elements correctly. To make kind of like a roundabout comparison here, it kind of reminds me of Shadow of Mordor in that way, where Shadow of Mordor does not do anything original, in my opinion, other than the Nemesis system, I guess.
And that wasn't even in every version of the game.
Right. But the mechanics are all just from other games. You know, Assassin's Creed's running, and their detective vision or whatever, and then, you know, the assassinations from, you know, stealth, and then the Batman Arkham fighting system, yada 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 yada. So I feel like Darkwatch does that as well, where it's like we're going to take some elements from Halo, take some elements from Quake, other arena shooters, but doesn't really do anything to really wow me and make me want to be like, oh, if I'm thinking of an arena shooter, this is one I want to play. You
know what it came off to me, and I've made this comparison a few times, and the more I think about it, the more it's like a light version of this. BioShock. Because you have like what's equivalent to the little sister stations, where you can choose to either do the good or the bad interaction with them.
Yeah.
You have good and evil tiers of powers, and depending on how far you go in the evil path, you can get more powerful, like you can min-max your shit and be like, oh, I want to go for the evil power that we got at the end. That thing was room clearing. Like, that's literally what the power was.
It was an arc that instantly killed whatever it touched, but it only went in front of you, and it only went wherever level you fired.
Yeah, so it would have, and we were just getting so much recharge on that all the way through. But like, it was a BioShock system, where it's like, it's ultimately, at the end of the day, a superficial morality system.
Yeah.
Like, but that could have been so cool. Imagine, like, oh.
There's a lot of lost potential here.
I would love to see a second one. We never will.
No. It's one of those... No one's asking for a second one.
Yeah, no one's out there beating the Darkwatch drum.
I'll be honest with you, though. It is very possible that the people who made Darkwatch might have moved on to BioShock. Because I believe it said it was High Noon Studio or something. Which was kind of weird because their logo had a moon on it. That's a whole different story.
I'd have to look into it. I don't want to get too caught in the weeds on that. Because we're going to get to BioShock at some point, too.
Yes, that is true. It will be. So, right now, with our standings, my top-ranked game of all time continues to be God of War.
Oh, I thought you were going to go through the list.
I'm not going to go through... Can you imagine going through the whole list every time?
Well, for right now, to sum it up in the first episode, because remember how I said I wanted to make this like 10 minutes? We're pushing 30. So
I knew this was going to happen.
I did too, let's be honest. They'll be shorter going forward, because I guess we'll go to the wrap-up now.
Yeah, we did cover 4 games, so...
Yeah, so your list, if I have it written down correctly, was God of War, number 1, Red Dead Revolver, number 2, Rule of Rose, number 3, and Darkwatch at number 4.
Worst game of all time.
Worst game of all time.
Worst game of all time, yes.
My number 1 game being Darkwatch.
Yeah.
Followed by Red Dead Revolver. I think I even wrote my own list out of order. I think I put God of War at number 3 and Rule of Rose number 4.
You wanted God of War last.
I did want God of War last. I don't know why I wrote it that way.
Interesting.
Hey, this is Nathan editing, and I realized I made a misspoke. Not sure where the breakdown was, but at the end of the day, I fucked up somewhere. So, going forward, my ranking will be Darkwatch at number 1, Red Dead Revolver at number 2, Rule of Rose at number 3, and then God of War at number 4. Cool. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
You're the only one writing anything. And
I
you still wrote it wrong.
I am.
You got mine right, though.
Sobriety is really
hitting some of us
really
harder than others.
fucking me over.
Yeah.
Short-lived sobriety. We will be having
Wet Timber.
Power Hour. Absolutely. Ooh, no spoilers. We'll talk about that at the end. But yeah, that's our list. The way this is going to go going forward. When we're done recording this, we're going to start recording next week's 2 episodes. We're each going to present one game.
An entry, if you will.
An entry, yes. And then the other person will do it for another episode. And then we'll do a shorter podcast talking about the ranking. So the ranking won't be in each individual Let's Play. For those that don't care about that, or just want to see the Let's Play, it's whatever.
And if you enjoy watching us muted, that's fine. Just keep it to yourself. Actually, no. Put it in the comments. I know commenting's important. You see, I'm helping with the analytics right now.
Yeah. The marijuana's hitting you, and I'm sitting over here rambling. So every week we're going to add 2 games and then do a podcast at the end of the week and then stream whenever the fuck we have time to do that. So the next week's game, whatever day we decide to put it out.
Would it be next week or this week? We'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure out scheduling after we do this.
We know the next game, though.
The next game to be added is going to be Bushido Blade for the PS1. We have multiple videos of us playing that on the channel, but we're going to play it one more time because we just want to.
It's a fun game, and one that's going to be very easy to talk about. Guess who's about to get a new number 1?
Hey, maybe both of us.
Hey, I'm number 1 for you all the time.
And then the game after that is going to be a special one. If you know, you know. It's going to be Flintstones Trouble at Dinosaur Peak for the NES. Now, again, for those that know, no, we do not own a physical copy of that. I will not be saying how much that game costs to Justin, because I want to see if he can guess during the episode.
I can't.
I don't think you will either. But yeah, I've never played Trouble at Dinosaur Peak, so I kind of want to play that as well, see how it goes. But let's be honest, no one but Cindy made it this far into the video anyway. So
I'll be watching. Hey, me.
Hi.
How you doing?
All right, we're rambling. I'm rambling. I can tell.
You are very much rambling, but that's fine. Thank you for coming. Until we see you again.
Bye.